Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome back. Today I'm going to introduce partner visas. Now before we get into it, I wanted to share that News on YouTube only started a few months ago. But News has actually existed for over 2 decades now. It began as printed newsletters as the visa system in Australia got more complicated, and we realised that many would benefit from having a reliable source of information. Regulations can be hard to find, and I can tell you, even harder to read. The team produces a lot of content for social media. Now that includes detailed guides, stories, and important updates. You can find these on News on our website. You will also find infographic fast facts on Instagram, and we share all of that on Facebook, so that's a good place to be. Now when we create content, we always make sure to include how it may be relevant to you and give tips where we can instead of simply rephrasing regulations. We hope that our work has been helpful to you and hope that you will share our content with others who are also looking to live in Australia. When you apply for a partner visa, you are actually applying for a temporary visa and a permanent resident visa at the same time. That is why they whack you with that huge application fee up front of about $8,000 currently. Over 20 years ago when we first began, it was only $600 for a partner visa. How things have changed. Now you pay more and the immigration processing takes longer. Currently, on average, the entire process takes about 1 to 3 years. For most applicants, they will be granted the temporary visa first, then progress on processing of their permanent residency later. Applicants who are in a long-term relationship or have children of the relationship may be able to skip the wait and jump straight into the processing of their permanent residency, but this is assessed on a case-by-case basis. Now there are 2 streams under the partner visa. They are the onshore stream and the offshore stream, which means that your applications will be a little different depending on whether you are in Australia or not. For those potential applicants in Australia, most apply under the onshore stream, being the temporary 820 and permanent 801 visas. There are a number of benefits for applying onshore. If you apply onshore, you will be granted a bridging visa which will allow you to stay in Australia until your application is finalised. Now that doesn't mean you cannot leave Australia, although you do have to be in Australia to be granted the visa. It is also okay to spend long periods outside of Australia, so long as the relationship is continuing and genuine. That bridging visa will also allow you to work and study full-time. The bridging visa takes effect from when your current visa expires, and not when you just apply for the partner visa. As an example, if you entered Australia and applied for your partner visa whilst on a visitor visa, your bridging visa will only kick in once that tourist visa has expired. If you want to pick up some work, you will need to wait until the bridging visa has come into force. Now, onshore applicants are eligible to apply for Medicare, and you can do this from the time when you apply for your partner visa. If you're applying for the offshore visa stream, you will be applying for the temporary 309 and permanent 100 visas, and you will not be given a bridging visa to stay in Australia. These visas are usually assessed by the nearest Australian High Commission to your country and can take anywhere from 6 to 18 months to process. In the meantime, if you wish to visit Australia, you will have to apply for a visa to do so. Offshore applicants often fly in and out on visitor visas. Now ideally you would want to apply onshore, but this can be quite difficult to do so if you have Condition 8503 imposed on your visa. Now Condition 8503 is a limitation placed on some people to disallow them from applying for another visa whilst they're in Australia. We've covered Condition 8503, so check out the link above and the description below. Now you know how it works, but the question is, do you and your sponsor actually qualify? One of you needs to be an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen in the relationship. That person is the sponsor. The sponsor also needs to be older than 18 and must be of good character. Now, we're not judging. By good character, we mean no substantial criminal records and definitely no history of perpetrating family violence. The requirements on the applicant are rather basic. You must be over 18, as underage relationships are not legal in Australia. You also must meet health and character requirements, and then there is no English requirement or skills test required. You can apply for a partner visa if you are married or have been in a de facto relationship. Now, to be considered as de facto partners, the Immigration Department requires that you either need to be in the relationship for at least 12 months or sign an Australian state or territory relationship registry, one that is recognised by the Commonwealth Government under the migration regulations. If you're proving your relationship as a de facto couple, the time spent in the relationship that counts towards the 12 months must be from the time you have both considered the relationship to be a committed one. That is when you both had the intentions of a lifetime relationship. You will be required to show evidence of that commitment. Now here's a cool fact. Same-sex marriage became legal in Australia in December 2017, so same-sex partners can apply as married or as de facto couples. It seems odd to have to prove your relationship to the government, and I can understand some resentment in having to do this. But there have been too many cases in the past where this visa has been misused, and the rules are in place to protect the Australian community from fraud. Now, the Immigration Department assesses a relationship under 4 main aspects: financial, nature of your household, social, and the nature of your commitment. This is to ensure that applicants are actually in a genuine relationship. If you're wondering how to fulfill the assessment of having a household if you're living in different countries, here's another cool fact. You do not have to be living together to be eligible for a partner visa. There are many accepted reasons why couples are separated for extended periods, and the COVID-19 pandemic would have to be the number one prime example. There are many other requirements, such as the 4 aspects of the relationship that are not readily visible to the public, such as the limitations on the sponsor and what regulations apply when the relationship falls apart after the visa has been granted. There's a reason why on step 1 of the Home Affairs website says you might want to get help with your application. In the case where you're applying for a partner to be a secondary applicant on another type of visa, such as a student visa, the evidence required to prove the relationship is not as complicated, so that's a good thing. We recommend that you get assistance for partner visas, as they can be surprisingly difficult and are often heavily scrutinized by the Immigration Department. You won't want delays on an application that already takes a long time to process, and you certainly don't want to risk that very expensive application fee by making an error in your application. Failed applications also make it harder for further application, as it is taken there as a good reason why the applicant has been refused for a visa before. We will talk about these relationship registries, limitations on sponsors, and cover 4 aspects of the relationship in more details in episodes to come, so make sure you keep a lookout for those. Do, however, understand that we share information for a very broad audience, and your circumstances are individual to you, so do seek out professional advice. So that's it for today. This is Australian Immigration Law Services. We give honest and accurate advice, and we get results. Take care out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.